becomes Merchant of Death.
Yeah, good. Pretty brutal. There's a lot of death involved.
Yeah, I mean, you could diss Shakespeare on air, headline Merchant Offensive, which is quite clever if you think about it. Merchant of Venice offensive.
It's very
It kind of works. I had you could Japanese restaurant, Lanky Noodle Ranty.
Yeah, wow, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea, actually, because I do get very riled in restaurants.
Yeah.
I'm often shouting and huffing.
Yeah.
But rarely to the people working there, often just in the car afterwards.
Well,
I do, road rage is something I could easily get done
yeah.
for. I get furious, the foul language. Oh, the C word's been heard. I know.
But you eat out a lot, so maybe you could have like every 5 minutes on we could have a 5-minute slot every week. You doing a kind of restaurant review, just slating everyone and going berserk, and it's basically become stories of you having stand-up rows and fistfights in restaurants.
Sort of Michael Winner-esque.
Yeah,
But then not
more
just
violent.
people just be doing horrid things into my soup.
Oh, that's true.
That's a worry. I'm wondering if perhaps I need to offend Middle England somehow. They seem to be people who get very annoyed about stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if I prevented ramblers from walking across my estate,
Yeah.
that seems to annoy people a lot. Need to buy an estate, obviously.
Yeah, you could.
Or I could squat on someone else's estate.
Yeah, or you could rent a house in a really nice area and just turn it into a youth centre or something.
Yeah.
Kids, everyone hates the kids.
That's good. That's true, actually. Yeah, I could have a wild party
Yeah.
in some nice little Devonshire village. Oh, that's gonna annoy people. Who am I Oh God, who's this coming in? It's only George Michael. Hang on a minute. Imagine that, George Michael in South Devon.
People go wild.
Oh dear. Yeah, that could be good. What if I started making Six Music Steve Show T-shirts? Oh, hang on. Who's making them? It's only little kiddies, isn't it? In Korea.
Oh, brilliant.
Who are on, 4p a year
So,
and a bowl of rice.
we're making money, we're publicising the show, and we're, beating up the downtrodden little people.
That sounds good. That sounds good. If you're out there and you know of an illegal sweatshop that you can put us in touch with, please do get in touch.
Text us on 64046 or email stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk.
What if I took a dump in a hat? There we are. Bo Diddley by Bo Diddley, influential early rocker, of course, who died last year, sadly, and that was his very much his signature tune. Named after himself, of course. Not many tunes named after the artist. I'm obviously thinking of Living in a Box, and their single Living in a Box. I don't know, did they have any more music? They were that was all they could write about, was the troubles of living in a box, living in a cardboard box. They teased you in straight away, I'm living in a box, and then instantly knew the listeners were thinking, well, what kind of box?
Yeah.
They answered that in a second.
Plywood box?
Plywood box?
Wicker
No,
box?
cardboard box.
Yeah.
I'm presuming it was about the homeless.
Might have been.
I presume it was, but I don't know if they had follow-up stuff, living in other things.
They did have a hit with Blow the House Down, which seems very much like a precursor to
Yeah,
Living in a Box.
exactly. Yeah, that should have come out before Living in a Box.
Yeah, they got it all wrong.
But yeah, are there any others?
The S Club 7 sang about themselves.
An S Club party.
They had a party like there wasn't there categorically wasn't a party that was similar to an S Club party.
No, there ain't no party like an S Club
No,
party.
but I don't know if the song was literally called S Club 7. That would have been good. Any other songs? Yeah, literally the name of the band as the song.
It's weird as well that Living in the Box that you would write a song, that presumably the song came first, and then they thought, well, we need a band name, we're putting out the record tomorrow, quick guys, oh, I've got no idea. What about Living in a Box? Okay, that's the name of the song though, Jeff. Yeah. But, I mean, have you got anything down? Well, I haven't actually, no, we should have thought about this beforehand. I'm presuming that's how it played out.
They needed a name by 4 o'clock. It's 10:02.
Exactly.
It's the best we've got.
Exactly. What about just the box? No, living. Why come? Or it was just someone just looking around the desk. What is it? There's a copy of the record. We could have called the chairs. What about the clocks? No. The men. Some men. Some men. No. Okay. Looks at record. Living in a Box. Yeah, where'd you get the idea from? It just came to me. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of any others. Bo Diddley. The Beatles.
Lots of albums, tons of albums, obviously, but not so many songs.
I'm sure the listeners will get in touch. Let's have a musical choice from Sammy.
Hello there. This was brought up by a listener last week, and annoyingly it was on text message, so I can't give this listener any revs. But if that is you, well done. Reminded me of one of my favourite songs, which is a song called Hocus Pocus by a band called Focus.
That's a preposterously brilliant piece of music, Sammy. Thank you very much indeed for choosing that one. Name it.
It's Hocus Pocus by Focus from 1971, and they are Dutch, and I think both of those things are obvious from listening to that.
It's nice that it followed Bo Diddley by Bo Diddley, because Hocus Pocus by Focus, presumably they quite like the fact that their band name rhymed with the song name.
Their most famous song, yeah.
Was that their first single? They're called Hocus Pocus. We need something that rhymes with Hocus Pocus. Well, there's not many.
At least all of their songs rhyme with Hocus Pocus.
Someone went mucus. They went, that's why you're the drummer. We were talking also about we're really desperate for some big press attention. I'm beginning to wonder if actually Rufus's racist outburst earlier, "I hate reggae," quote, "I hate reggae." It's not called reggae.
Reggae.
I hate reggae, says Rufus. That might be enough, because what would be good is, what if I fired you? No, if I fired you from the show for that, then we could leak that to the press, and Middle England will go crazy, because that will be political correctness gone mad. Wouldn't it? You know, that man voices opinion on reggae, and this, I mean, you can see that every newspaper will have an opinion, every sort of mouthy columnist, why you can't say this, why you can't say that, I don't like reggae, says Carol Malone.
She does, she loves it.
Does she love reggae? She absolutely loves it.
Roots and culture.
Yeah, sure. But this could work for us. We definitely we need to rile Middle England. That's what works. That's what works. What do they care about? What if I carried on doing the show, but then also signed on in the week?
Yes. Yeah.
If I got caught down the DSS, wearing maybe just a beard and some overalls flecked with paint.
I'm thinking you should just do a little bit of temping in an office. Imagine that.
Whoa.
The headline possibilities of Stephen Merchant caught by a photocopier, just literally working for the gas board.
Sure.
And there he is, bang to rights, doing some research, Mr. Merchant. I don't think so. You're earning money.
I've got genuinely a cleaning lady, and I'm not sure about her credentials. I've never asked to see her paperwork. She is papers.
Are you paying her cash in hand?
Well, no, it's a standing order, obviously.
Right.
But yeah,
So she's got a bank account.
I'm presuming so.
Well, you're paying a standing order. You're paying money from your account to her account.
So she's probably legit, isn't she?
She's got a bank.
Damn! I need to employ a gardener. An illicit Polish gardener.
You've got a garden.
No, I'd imagine
I've got a garden.
I'd imagine you're paying.
What if I employ a gardener even though I haven't got a garden? Does that annoy the Daily Mail?
Yeah, that'll probably annoy them.
BBC man squandering our money on a garden he doesn't even have. Merchant was seen buying geraniums today. Where's he going to plant?
I imagine you're paying your standing order though to the mastermind who's running this cleaning operation.
You're right.
Getting these illegal immigrants over to and just paying them nothing really.
This is good. This is where we're going to go. I'm going to work on this. We'll have some more music. Don't forget, Amanda Palmer will be playing tunes from her new album, her solo album, after the news. Before that, we'll have some Beirut. Beirut have two new EPs being released. One features Mexican folk music, the other features his more familiar brand of electro synth pop. From that one, which is called Real People Holland, that's The Concubine. We'll be back after the news with live music from Amanda Palmer.
On digital.
Stone Roses, One Love, Steve Show, Six Music with me, Steve Mitchell, my little gang of cronies here. Live music very soon from Amanda Palmer. She will be playing stuff from her solo album, she of course being one half of the Dresden Dolls. Harry's here, Rufus and Sammy. Before we talk to Amanda, we'll hear a tune from Harry. And we've also been talking about ways of garnering some press for the show, perhaps getting me into the tabloids. Steve in Iowa has sent an email, which may or may not be snide, difficult to say. He could be championing the show, he could be negging the show. But he says, why don't, if you want some press, why not just put out a consistently great radio show? Can't help but feel that it would be much easier to murder a homeless man.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work.
You know what I mean? Putting out a consistently good radio show, please. We're not Chris Moyles. It's not slightly impossible. I'll work on solving the Middle East crisis first. So anyway, yes, we're going to have a tune from Harry.
Yeah, well, seasoned Harry watchers will know that I'm usually bringing in some kind of angry US indie rock type stuff, and this is going to be quite a departure. People are going to be shocked. It's a bit like when Dylan went electric.
Wow.
Or when Cheggers got his wanger out. This is the most incredibly pop thing I've ever bought in. If I had a tiny, enormous little silver pair of hot pants, I would have been dancing around the kitchen in them to this all week. The album is called Ray Guns Are Not Just the Future. The band is The Bird and the Bee. This is out as a single on February the 16th, and it's called Love Letter to Japan.
Rather like good choice.
Incredible, yeah. That was Love Letter to Japan by Bird and the Bee.
I want to see those hot pants next week.
Okay, deal.
Oh yeah, now we're talking. Please welcome Amanda Palmer. Round of applause. She's here.
Hello, hello.
Amanda, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. You've just landed in a very rock and roll way. Is that
I
right?
just landed in such a rock and roll way. I just flew in from Boston, so I'm still delirious, and hopefully I'll make sense to you.
You were limoed here.
I was totally not limoed. I was driven here by Austin, who was kind enough to pick me up at my friend's
I'm always intrigued to know what
house.
kind of rock and roll car. Have you got a T-Bird?
He's got such a practical car, it's not funny.
Just a really functional car.
It's almost a dad car.
Sure. Now then, we played one of your tunes earlier, Oasis, which
Yes,
I
you did.
think is possibly a single.
Yeah, and it's a miracle that you played it.
It is, because it's got quite a sort of upbeat and sort of fun tune, but it's quite sort of heavy subject matter.
Well, it is, but I think that's...
Explain yourself.
I just found out this week that there's a bunch of radio stations and TV stations in the UK that won't play the song.
Oh, really?
And that's really upsetting to me, because it's it's black humor, obviously. Like, it's this really up-tempo, poppy, Beach Boys-y song that deals with rape and abortion.
Yeah.
But it's not so much that it deals with it. It's a piece of art. It's a really tongue-in-cheek song about a teenage girl who's going through all these terrible things, but she's still really excited, and God, it doesn't matter, because she has this awesome autographed picture that came from the Oasis fan club, and she's just so excited about it. And that's actually, there's something about that that's really true to life. I mean, everybody lives in denial, and to not be able to sing about it, not be able to make a joke about that, I just think is absurd.
Do you think, when you're putting a song like that together, are you conscious of it being controversial in some way? Is that something that you're aware of, or do you just do it, and then when it does rile people later, that's just...
I don't think about those things at all, which is, I think it should be that way. I think if I was calculating, this is really bother people, then I probably wouldn't do it. I don't want to bother people.
But is it not the case that in the States, one always gets the impression over here that in America it's much harder to be, weirdly, in a country that prides itself on freedom of speech, that it can sometimes be much harder to sort of have that kind of freedom of speech?
That's
true?
why I was really surprised that the UK was being so sensitive about it, because they're playing it in the States, and I was like...
Well, we are being frog-marched back to the 1950s.
I heard about Jonathan Ross.
Yes, you've arrived at a time where the moral majority have taken it upon themselves to take us back in time.
And we've got
so we are going to be banning Lady Chatty's lover. That's going to be banned soon, and homosexuality is going to be made illegal, I believe, in the autumn.
Hot pants are going to be made illegal.
Yes, and hot pants as well. So you've joined us at a wonderful time. So tell us a little bit about the solo album. People obviously familiar with you from your work with the Dresden Dolls. Is it similar? Is it different? Why are you doing something solo? I mean, I'm always interested to know why people
It started out as a little solo piano project, and then Ben Folds asked if he could produce it.
Mm-hmm.
And once Ben got involved, we started adding, and all of a sudden it turned into a full production record with drums and strings and guitars and synths and all sorts of stuff. And Ben was a genius, and he played all over it, and the project extended into taking like a year and a half instead of a few months.
And I think,
it sounds like the Dolls, but it's obviously the Dolls are strictly just piano and drums, and this goes way beyond that.
And so, would you still characterise it as being, and I suspect that these are not necessarily your words, but I've heard the Dresden Dolls described as Brechtian punk cabaret.
I called
something you
the band that on purpose, because I didn't want people to call us goth.
Sure.